Hi guys, I'm back with another video. It's been a long time, but anyways, I have the sketch here, and there's another one there too. And this drawing is all about my procrastination with a lot of things, whether it be with drawing or career stuff. I guess mostly drawing. Also the video creation, which that's been going great. Anyways, so it's basically, the concept here is a little figure burning through the calendar of 2024. I was constantly thinking about the idea where 2024 is going to be my year. And I think that's what I would officially call this drawing as well. To get more into the actual process of the drawing, you can see there I just made like a kind of loose perspective grid that follows a cylinder, and so I can kind of get an idea where the pages would fall. But I also wanted to keep to the sketch a little bit and like the dramatic kind of curling of the paper. Also, another thing here, I spent surprisingly so much time in this one spot, but in the end it's just a flat thing. There's no curl here. I don't know why I did it. But anyways, now we're heading on to the pencil and like the little rope there. I wanted to just keep it kind of loose overall. I think I'm such a perfectionist where I will just spend 20 years on something, like that little crinkle in the bottom of the calendar there. I'm trying slowly just to turn that side of me off and just let something be. So I drew in the figure here, and this was gonna be like my template for all the other pages. And I was looking to see if maybe I could transform it to kind of better fit the page. And there's like one or two that actually might have worked. But I actually end up deciding just to draw it out. As I'm recording this, the voiceover, it is funny just looking at the sketch and seeing how it says August of 2024. That's when I originally thought out the idea. I was determined to get it out for September because I'm like, I can't keep changing the darn month, you know? I have to do it. I have to get it done. As I start doing the line work for the figures, I always try to keep in mind watching out for tangents, because those just don't look good. And you'll see I try to avoid them most with like the hands and especially like the feet and how they kind of overlap in some ways. And so you'll see how I try to avoid those. And you'll come to notice too that I get kind of confused with some of the pages and the layout of them all, because I don't know, I was just a little confused by it. I think it reads pretty well in the end, but as I was drawing it, I was like, it just took me so many times. You'll see later I had to color all the pages to make sure that I was actually drawing on like the correct page. So the next thing I start working on is the grid for the calendar. And I did use a few just random fonts just to help me get an idea of the spacing for the letters. You'll see later too, I'm not just tracing them like with extreme detail. It's very loose in how I ink them, which I actually really liked how they came out, so you'll see. And one thing too is you'll see for some reason I'm drawing 6 rows for the days. And I can explain. I use this reference here, and if you look, it's taking into account 6 rows for these dates. And the others, they just go back to 5 rows. So for some reason, I followed 6, but you'll see, I do change it as I realize and say, oh crap, and it just looks a lot nicer. So you'll see. You can't really tell watching it, but because I sped it up so much. But at this part, I just know how slow my computer can be when it comes to Photoshop. It's almost 10 years old, and the girl is just not holding up whenever I turn on Photoshop. So it's rough, really rough. Especially when you want to make a quick change and it's just so slow. I thought with having September be cut off by the figure, I thought it'd be really cool if you could see the October header where the empty spot is, and it didn't really fit, so I kind of just said screw it, we're gonna still put it in, even though it's wouldn't technically see it. Granted though, I thought it would help sell the idea that it's like, yes, like, and also just cool. Same goes for November. Going back to what I said earlier, trying to draw all the different lines and really was kind of confusing for me, so I just started laying down all the colors, and that really helped distinguish what was what. It's at this point where I notice the 6-row grid doesn't work. In 3, 2, 1. And so now we're finally starting on the 5-row grid. Don't you hate when you've completed a project and you post it online and everyone sees it, and then you finally notice that there's something wrong about your project? I do too. After I mark off the days to this calendar, this drawing is pretty much finished, and so I can start heading on to the color aspect to it, in which I do a color comp. So I do 4. And the first one is kind of, I guess, the closest to how I envisioned it in my head. Granted, I've already discussed in another video that that's kind of, whatever I see in my head is just not what comes out on paper. But a lot of it was just like dark blues matched with the orangey burn of the figure. The second one kind of has, I guess, tiny bit more realistic colors to a sense. You know, the paper's like more white. The colors are going to be a tiny bit more purpley overall. I guess I kind of just feel a little more comfortable with more realistic colors. It reminds me of this recent artwork I did. I didn't record it because I just wasn't feeling it at the time. It's basically just a study of a screenshot I got off of Math Crunch. I think I just feel a little more comfortable with realism than bold, abstract colors. So at this point, with those two color comps, it was all pretty much just a lot of blue colors. And so I decided, let's just try it and see if we can do a little more, lean a little more into like the warmth of like the warmer colors. The last one was kind of just like a throwaway, I guess. I just wanted to just see what would happen. I've been playing a lot of Disco Elysium lately, and I tried to channel a tiny bit of that. Granted, I think their colors are 10 times better than mine, but I don't know. Just wanted to have fun with it, just to see what would come to be. So overall, I liked the first two. Granted, as I look now, I do like the third one, the on the bottom left. But I chose the top right, so that's why I do. And so I stretch it back out to fit the overall, the big image, and just start to try to clean it up a little bit. That is one of the pros when it comes to digital art, is when you do a color comp, you can just kind of stretch it back out to be, to the original composition, and then you just have to clean it up. Granted, obviously my style for this was very simple overall, pretty simple line work and stuff like that. It's not like I'm doing a hyper-realistic painting or portrait of someone, Lately, whenever I've been, doing art and stuff, when it comes to coloring, I've been liking actually being able to see the brushstroke, and not just having it be a very smooth gradient. I think it just adds a little bit more character overall. It's funny too, I remember back in college I would like the more graphic look, basically like cell shading. This drawing is a little odd for me to have drawn overall. What I mean by that is I usually like to just draw from observation, like that other picture I showed earlier, and doing something that's kind of like this that's a little more expressive and I guess a little more like thoughtful, I guess, at least like personal, I guess I should say, is not really common for me. Not to say that this is like some grand project where I'm just like, my mind has changed now after doing this. That's not the case at all. It's just, I don't know. It's just one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, and I felt like I had to owe it to myself to do it just because it did feel personal to me. Especially seeing as it focused on procrastination and not meeting deadlines, or personal deadlines. I knew when I had the marked days, I knew that I wanted the red to be, like a big, bold color. And so with me doing the string that, for the pencil, I kind of just ran with the idea of having red be the unifying color that you would see anywhere in this picture. And so you'll see later too, I incorporate even more red into the picture. I tried drawing in the lines to maybe see if I liked the color version of it, and honestly, I really didn't. So I just went back to the black. So now we're pretty close to wrapping up here, and I decided now to focus a little bit more on the background because it's kind of just a boring background, to be honest with you. And so seeing as I wanted to incorporate more red into the picture, I did just that. I used an inking brush and I basically just kind of did a little hatching, and I really liked how it came out. It added a little more energy to the background, and I think it just needed that. I also always like to add like a little bit of glow in some places. I try not to overdo it. That's, I think, the biggest challenge. But I loved it on the paper, the white glow. But yeah, anyways, we're at the end, so I hope you enjoyed the video. You know, I hope you liked to just kind of chill here with me while I talk about this. Yeah, I hope you liked it. I thought it was fun. And so I will see you in whatever video I do next. Also, real quick, I do have another YouTube channel that I have been, well, trying to post on. I'm working on my second video. It's not art related, but still. Okay, see ya.